All right, so burnishing trowels. The burnishing trowels are a little smaller. They're 200 by 80 size, okay? The reason why we use different trowels from burnishing from the application, it all has to do with pressure, okay? All has to do with pressure. So when I start putting pressure on this trowel right here, the pressure that I'm putting on the center is exactly the same pressure from the both tips from the end to the end. So it becomes a nice board of compression. If the trowel was bigger, and I put pressure on this trowel, the pressure from the center is completely different from the two edges, and these two edges will start even black or black streak lines in different areas, okay? So that's why it's important to have two trowels, one to put on, one to burnish, one to put on, one to burnish. And then when you're burnishing, you're gonna have your rag and you're gonna keep cleaning it. Why? Because your product is still wet. You see it? It's still wet, still wet. So there's product on the trowel. So what happens if I don't clean it? This dries, I come back, hit my wall, I scratch my wall. This is the final finish. The worst thing you want on the final finish is a scratch on your wall, because now you have to do a repair, or how bad it is, you might have to redo the wall. So to prevent that, is what I'm trying to teach you guys is being clean. Clean is super important. Not because you become a pretty boy or pretty girl, it's because of the nature of the beast of what you're doing. This is more of a finesse product. You have to finesse it a little bit, okay? So if it's too dry, you come back in your fingers and you take it off. Come back, and we're burning it. Clean it. After a couple of times, you come back and clean it. You clean it. In all different directions. You start cleaning it. So what's happening here? Anything that's raised, anything that's on the high spot is gonna start compressing and burnishing and gonna start shining, okay? You see the little sheen that has to it? The stuff that's shining on this particular product is only the high spots, all right? So the lower spots is not shining. What does that mean? That means the darker areas on this board is what I'm over burnishing it, is the high spots. So now you have your high spots. Then when I put a metallic wax onto it, the wax falls into the crevices, to the holes, and it gives you this nice pretty look. Okay, this is what we call, what the Italians call the bad marmorino job, because this wasn't the way to do marmorino. The Italians actually got offended of us teaching people how to do this. Ew, this is not the way you do it. It's not about if it's not the wrong or right way to do it, it's what the client likes. It's what's important. How we created this. We created this here in Forensic Enterprises here. How? The client wanted a smooth, shiny finish, but wanted it with texture. How the heck do I create a shiny, smooth finish with texture? Shit. We had to come back to the office and create something. We created this. So now it becomes a nice, smooth finish. Feel it? It's smooth, right? It's smooth, 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 shiny, and it has texture. That's how we create it. We call it the overall style. This was made here in the United States. No bullshit. Anybody watching it, we created it. So it's the overall style of Venetian plaster with a beautiful finish. It dries up, and that's it. We'll wax it. So you guys are gonna share these burnishing trowels. You guys are gonna apply it, burnish it up, give it to the next one. These will be rotated because the more it dries, the more you're gonna burnish it. Okay, guys? So let's go.